Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, TAMI Lynn Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey. Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome. So I can get up on my perch. Welcome to Bringers of the Light Sunday. I thought I would film outside today so we can try to enjoy the fall colors that are starting to form out here in the back area. My little, I don't know, my little weed garden over here. Welcome in. Here we are yet again for another Sunday together. Trying to avoid the sun. I've got my little basket of goodies. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, on a podcast provider, on Spotify, and you want to join us over on YouTube to see the fall colors, I've got my little fall colored blanket with bears, the mama bear and the baby bear on it. And I thought I would do a video too. For this, we don't always, just to sit outside for a little bit. It's one of the few times, it's not the few times, but the temperature is okay. It's not too windy. There's not a giant sandstorm coming this way, and there's not mosquitoes right now. So we're doing good. And I want to play today, but before we do, we've got quite a few new people here too, so welcome in, settle in. As I wrap us all in love light and light love, inviting in the guides who overlight TLC for the soul, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, Pleiadians, all my TLC for the soul guides. So many of you. Welcome in. So I thought today we would do something a little bit different. I know I said I wasn't going to do any works in progress, but I want to work a short story with you guys for the next while, the next month or so. And if you're new here, I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm a master healer. But on Sundays, well, all of my books are out there, published quite a few books now, fiction and nonfiction. All my ebooks are free to read. And the way I do my authoring, quote unquote authoring, is through channeled writing, through automatic writing. So that's how all the content that I create is done that way. So Bringers of the Light Sundays, we bring in a chapter typically that is from a channeled work that I've done, and we talk about it in reference to the week ahead. Now this week ahead is got some goodies going on. We've got the Pisces lunar eclipse, full moon on the 17th or the 18th, I think, depending on where you're at, because it's a nighttime. I think what is biting me? Here it happens like at 9 something at night on Tuesday. And then next Sunday we have the equinox, Mabon, the fall equinox here in the northern hemisphere, or the spring equinox in the southern. So depending on where you're listening to this at. So I thought we would, I just want to play. So a new book came in and wants to be a short story, and we haven't done very many short stories. I'm working on a book of short stories, and this one came through, and I was like, yes, I want to play with this and see where it goes. And my dog is very upset that she's right there in the window and that she can't be out here with me, which is fine. You stay in there, I'll stay out here. But we're going to bring in the channeling. So like I said, all the books I do are automatic writing books. I don't plan out books, and I don't plan chapters, and I don't do any of that. I just sit down with my guides, create sacred space, say I want to work on a book. In this case, yesterday I kept hearing flying potion, flying potion, flying potion, and I'm like, what is that? Why are you, what is that? You know? And it's like, it's a story if you want to tell it. And so I guess more than an author, I guess I feel like I'm more of a storyteller, because I like to take the stories and I like to tell them versus just writing a book and have it. I don't know. I just, to me, it's a little bit of a different art form. And many of the books that I've done are also on audiobook, so you could download the ebook for free. That's anywhere ebooks are, you know, Google Books, Apple Books, Barnes and Nobles. I don't know, Kobo is another one. I always say Kobo like it's this last ditch thing. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with it, but Kobo is another ebook provider. I think my stuff is there. And then my Smashwords is my publisher, and the links to everything I talk about are always in the show notes. So a lot of my books I'm trying to get all of them out on audiobook. But right now, I think there's like 5 or 6 on audiobook. So they're on the YouTube, they're on the podcast, and YouTube, they're in playlists. You just have to go to my channel, go to the playlist part and look for all the audiobooks. They're all listed there. They're also on the homepage of my channel, and on the podcast on Spotify, there's playlists for all those too under TLC for the Soul. And if you're in another podcast provider, I think you just probably have to put in audiobook and they'll all come up, because I can't create playlists in other places like that. But flying potion started coming in, and I was like, look, the sun. I was trying to beat the sun. I'm going to have to turn all of that. Flying potion started to come in, and I was like, I want to write this. So this morning I channeled the first chapter of Flying Potion. Like I said, it's going to be a short story similar to Hive Magic, which I don't know if I have on audiobook. We did that here on the channel. So we do them here on Sundays. We bring in a new chapter, and then we suss out as you listen with your guides, your master senses, whether you're looking at me on YouTube or whether you're just listening to my voice on the podcast. We kind of suss out the metaphors of each chapter as they pertain to the week ahead energies. And they always magically do line up that way if that's part of the intention of them. What else do I want to say about the week ahead? Should I draw cards first, or should I read? Let's see. Let's draw these cards and see if how they match up or how they pertain maybe to the chapter that we're going to read. So this Pisces lunar eclipse, everyone's talking about it. It's like a major big deal, as with everything, right? As with every astrology alignment. But this one is special, I think, because it happens in the final degrees of Pisces. Pisces is the last house in the zodiac wheel. If you're a Pisces rising, this could be a particularly important one for you. I'm a Pisces rising, and this eclipse falls in my first house, actually. And then it's bookended by the Libra new moon eclipse on October the 2nd. Libra, this puts your group of Libras on my descendant, which is my house of relationships. So you all know if you've been here a while. Still calling in my person. This is my deck, Bubble. I also create these little oracle card decks, and someday I'll spend time and work on a tarot deck. We've got a whole bunch of decks out there. Oh man, you bastard. You probably have like 15 decks out there. That's my air conditioning. Well, we're just going to go with it because we're already out here. I'm not going to move. So let's get some cards from Bubble. I forgot that thing was there. I could turn it off, but let's just see. Let's get 3 cards. I'm sure it's going to be 3. And then we'll read the chapter. It is 3. Gotta go with the roll of the flow. Oh, these cards came out earlier. you know what? I'm going to move because the sun is already bothering me. I think I'm going to go around to the other side of the house. So this could be, so everything that happens during the show or during a reading, you know, is part of the show. And oh, something's biting me now. So I'm going to stop this. And there could be something about this, about moving or moving on, or let's just see how this plays. Okay, so I moved, my goodness me, to another deck on another area of the yard. Now, didn't we just say something about the 3 bears? This is like, my cushion is maybe there's going to be this energy coming in of Goldilocks, right? Like, who knows what I'm doing? Who knows what parts of myself I'm showing here? This, like, my chair's not right. My sitting space is too hot. Oh, jeez. Well, I don't know, but here we go. Okay, so we got 3 cards. Let's go back to the cards. This is kind of like comic relief in a sense. So we got these 3. The first one is the graveyard again. What's done is done. Bring yourself back to the present moment. Now, I think some of these came out. We did a show right before this called Support You Need for Right Now or something like that. And I think some of these same cards came out. We got contract. This situation is complicated. And we got discernment. Keep a watchful eye out. Now, none of these that I can see kind of, to me, have anything to do with this chapter. But let's, without further ado, let's bring in the chapter and see what's going on with that. So this is a new book we're starting, a new chapter, a new book is starting. I kind of think that's symbolic for this Pisces eclipse. Even though it's in the latter part of the zodiac, of the last final degrees of Pisces, there's something about it. I think it's also conjunct Saturn, and they're saying that's what makes it such a big deal, is the Lord of Karma and the Lord of Time, you know, coming in with divine intervention to move you forward. All right. So let me grab the chapter. Flying potion. What? Oh, there's a bug by my ear. Okay. This is interesting. Oh, there we go. I was like, what? Gosh darn it. There's a mosquito on me. Okay. I don't do mosquitoes. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go inside. This is actually most hilarious, but These friggin' things. All right. Okay. Here we are again. I don't even know if I need these now. Whew. Well, I can tell you what this is all about. This is all about perseverance. This is move number 3. I'm so hot and sweaty now. Whatever's happening here has been all about how much do you really want this thing, this whatever it is that you've been striving for this whole time up until this point. How badly have you wanted it? I was going to sit there, and then the sun was so bright, and then when I would just pull the curtain over and the sun was still there, and I was like, okay, so this really was like, oh, I guess I'll come down here. And it's like, you know, I could have just said, forget the freaking video and I'll just do audio. But it's like I really wanted to do a video today. So, you know, none of these cards says anything about perseverance. Too many crickets. I don't know. And then it is kind of like, I guess, stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit. Like, this chair's too hard. This chair's too soft. This mosquito is biting me. And actually saying like, what's right for you? How much are you willing to tolerate, to put up with, before you decide to move forward or move on? So there's kind of like dual things happening here. One of them is about perseverance, but the like Nixon, one of them is about perseverance and like how keep going towards your goals. But then the other side of the coin is there anywhere where you basically just had enough and you are like, it's time to move on? And I think those are some of the main themes that other way showers that I watch their channels say those themes are kind of coming up right now for this time of the month, is, taking stock and, hi. Oh, she has her new collar. Isn't it so cute? We never see her face. Hi, Ging Ging. We just always hear your voice. Hi, love lovies. Hi. We always just see her tail or hear her voice. Hey, Kamadi, she got your new collar. So beautiful. Yes. I know your ears are itchy. I know my ear still feels weird too. I'm sorry. Oh, come here. You can come here. You can say hi to everybody. Here. There you go. There you go. She wants to be cuddly. Come here. There you go. You're so big. Well, we can't see you on camera. Okay, I'm going to film this show now, so let me do it. Go on over there. Go on over there. Okay. So 2 camps happening here. The, persevering towards what you really want, and then the flip side of like, this, like, I'm mad as heck, I can't take this anymore. And so something needs to change. And so maybe you fall in both camps or in the middle somewhere, or maybe the 2 things are 2 totally different things. Like, yeah, I'm still going towards, X, Y, Z. And over here with A, B, and C, like, I just cannot take A, B, C anymore. And I'm going to have to like do something and move on. So let's just see how that plays out. Now, I always say with the channelings, listen with your master senses. Invite in your guides when we read these to help suss out or tuss out or anything that shows up in the storytelling that might pertain to you. And then our guides will help us. She's looking at me so cute. Maybe there's a lot of interruptions in the week ahead. Our guides will help us kind of figure out what's going on next. So without further ado, finally, this is Flying Potion, Chapter 1, Weeping Willow. And we're back with Abigail and Dakar, 2 of my favorite lovebirds. So I never knew, I didn't know what Flying Potion was. I was like, what is it? And then I just started channeling and typing. I'm like, yes, we're back in Rockaway Point. Abigail picked at her broccoli casserole and made a face. Something was wrong with it. It lacked pizzazz. It had fallen flat, and she knew she hadn't worked her best magic on it. She tried to recall what she'd been doing and thinking about at 12 a.m. last night. She hadn't been able to sleep and had walked the 1/4 mile to Crust Bakery to try to ease the angst in her heart. This is her business. She'd gone into the very quaint shop with the gingerbread trim outside and straight back to the kitchens. Why was she still awake? Could it be the upcoming full moon lulling her with its portents and signs? She wasn't sure, and for some reason she felt things were not being shown to her. Miles away in Tessa Lock, Dakar tossed and turned. Why was he still awake? Perhaps it was that thing scratching at his window. Why was Dakar in Tessa Lock, you might ask? Well, Bringers of the Light HQ had a hot lead on some dark matters, and when it was something this sinister, only the best agents were called in. He'd checked into the Black Tongue Inn, the sister property to the Black Tongue restaurant in Rockaway Point. Black Tongue, well, we know that the name sounds a little sketchy, but Black Tongue Properties LLC was a new dark academia-themed property management company in the land. They'd been opening up themed properties all over the place, and Tessa Lock and Rockaway Point had finally succumbed to its magic. The owner of Black Tongue LLC was a very debonair warlock, and what Benjamin Black wanted, well, that's what he got. Dakar was in the toasted marshmallow suite. The room, bedecked in burgundy velvet, suited him just fine. He had shrugged out of his cashmere sweater and slacks and had been reading a leather-bound volume he'd found on the bookcase in the room. Flying Potion by Mindy Smatherton. Something about the title had intrigued him, but so far it had been a dreary story about a girl who wanted to fly through the night on her broom. But for 72 pages, all she could muster up was a deeply chilling cat who had red eyes, and the broom. And while the broom, which coughed and sputtered gray smoke, could only lift off the ground several inches before setting back down. No wonder he was awake. Dakar had surrounded himself with a dithering witch of the story who couldn't make anything happen for herself. "You're saying the spell all wrong." Dakar had had enough and tossed the book across the room. From there, he'd ordered up dinner. The tray was delivered by a perky room service girl who eyed him up and down. He'd answered the door in his maroon velvet smoking jacket, after having a few puffs of his favorite cigar, Mugwort Magic. The girl Angelica could have easily slipped inside and tried to sit down with Dakar, and in his olden days, he'd have allowed her in. But now he only had eyes for one witch, and that girl was 25 miles away sleeping in her own bed. At least he thought she was asleep. "You awake?" Dakar pinged Abigail in his mind. Drearily so, she'd ping back, "I'm baking, but it's all falling flat." "That's because you're lonely and you need a good spanking," Dakar said, inferring much more than that with his mind. Abigail blushed and stirred the cherry cobbler recipe. "Shall I come home to you?" he pinged again. "It's dreadful here without you." Her heart beamed out to him, and that was the only answer he needed, flying to her in his mind while packing up his overnight bag. Forget whatever dark matters Highcore had droned on about in the last staff meeting. The only thing Dakar had sensed here so far was the silly room service girl's wanton desire and a very badly burned vegetable tart that he'd sent back to the kitchen. Aside from that, the toasted marshmallow sweet was a lonely excuse for being away from his woman. He checked out of the hotel and slipped into the Jag. 25 miles and he'd be with his girl again. But what he didn't notice in his love-induced reverie was floating right over the Black Tongue Inn one very determined witch, high on Flying Potion, was following him home. I don't know who it is. I always get so excited because I never know what's coming next until I channel the next chapter. So let's see what of these, or maybe something's already stood out to you as part of the channeling. But I like how, Abigail, so she owns Crust Bakery, but if she's, it's just like whatever, what's that book, was it, I don't know, the ones where people like cook and they're sad or they're happy and their emotions go into their food. But she's trying to do something to I guess, just quell her sadness or her loneliness or whatever. Maybe she hasn't even admitted to herself she's lonely or what, I don't know, but she's trying to make stuff and it's just all like wah wah because she's missing her man. And then I do like how it says, why was she still awake? So maybe there have been some sleepless nights, or maybe this week there will be some sleepless nights with this full moon eclipse. I'm recording this on a Sunday. We still have Monday and most of Tuesday to go. Maybe your dreams will get more vivid. That happens to a lot of people. Or weird or whatever, creepy dreams. I don't know. Everybody dreams differently. Mainly in my dreams, I'm doing service work. And when I wake up, I don't remember a lot of what's happened. And so when I do get a dream that's like a sign or a portent or an omen, it stands out very vividly to me because it's very different from all the others. My son, on the other hand, when you're like, what did you dream about it? He can give you a 15-minute dissertation about everything that happened in his dream, so detailed. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't remember any of that. So pay attention to your dreams over the next week or so. And we know that when an eclipse happens, whatever's coming from that eclipse or as a result of the energies pouring in for that eclipse, it doesn't just happen like right on that day, right? So eclipses typically, you know, the next 6 months or so is what happens, what plays out as a result of the eclipse energy. And this is just the first of two, right? When we have that Libra one, which is all in 2 weeks from now, it's all about relationships and ending relationships and starting new relationships and what, you know, relationships, which is a kind of everything that's happening here, you know, Abigail and Dakar kind of, you know, separated and coming back together. They weren't even separated for very long. I mean, he just went to work a case that Bringers to the Light headquarters sent him on, and already they were like, oh, why are we apart? So this is not the first time that the Black Tongue franchise or whatever has come into the book. I went back because when I was channeling, I was like, Black Tongue, we've had that before. And it was in the Seafoam Inn, which I can't remember if I've put that on audiobook yet, but the ebook is out there. And it was where Clark Witherspoon was taking his fiancee Candy for their engagement dinner, for like a little dinner before their engagement party. And back then, which was, I think that took place in the summertime, this is taking place like in the autumn time, the Black Tongue restaurant was new to Rockaway Point. And now all of a sudden in Tessa Lock, we have the Black Tongue Inn, and we have this very wizardly, warlocky Benjamin Black, who apparently gets his way and has a property, I guess it's like themed property management company, a dark academia themed property management company that's more apparently worldwide, or what it seems like is worldwide. And he's somehow gotten up to Rockaway Point and Tessa Lock and said, you know, who knows what he said, you need a Black Tongue restaurant or whatever. It's very, people like themed stuff, you know, right? Especially dark academia is like a big thing now. Dark academia is like the whole, you know, like Harry Potter-ish theme, like wizardy or boarding school type thing, if you're not familiar with that. The owner, Black Tongue, a very debonair. So maybe you're a business owner, you know, maybe you are this. Maybe you own a small business. Maybe you own a very big business. Maybe you are this very debonair warlock. I like how Dakar's in the toasted marshmallow suite in a room, you know, in a room that seems just like made just for him. He's reading this book. I like how he's reading the book that's a book with the same title as our book, Flying Potion. But it looks like it was written by someone whose protagonist was like not very successful at what they did, right? Because for 72 pages, she manages to manifest like a cat with red eyes and a broom that doesn't really work well for her. So this could be a sign, a portent, a divine guidance to pay attention to what you're wishing for and what your intentions are during this week ahead, you know, and be very clear about what you want. Be very sure about what you want coming to you, they're saying too. And I've heard that being played out from some different shows I've been listening to as well. It's like, you know, act as if what you want is already here. So there's no room for disappointment if you really wanted, you know, I don't know why this is so specific. If you really wanted a red car and rather you settled and you got like some gray car or something instead, there's this thing that seems to be coming up about not settling too. So that's played out in this whole thing this whole farce we just went through with like, let me set up over here. The sun, you know, it's like I didn't just sit there and continue to be burned by the sun just because I want to film a video for y'all. You know, it's like I have to move because the sun is too hot, it burns. And then I got to the other back area and it was like, the mosquitoes were biting. I'm like, I'm not sitting out, how much I love y'all, I'm not sitting out here getting bitten by mosquitoes. And I came up here, it was the same thing. It was like, I just want to be comfortable. So, you know, not settling. And maybe that's the whole, you know, this or that with the, you know, what's not working. Okay, well, I don't want what's not working anymore. I want to persevere and continue to manifest my dreams and my desires. I don't want, you know, the toasted marshmallow sweet with the bad flying potion book and the vegetable tart that was all burned. I'm not going to like eat that. I'm going to send that back to the kitchen, right? Like being proud of who you are, being proud of how far you've come, being not, I just keep hearing like not settling for less than you deserve. And maybe that's with people too. You know, Dakar could have had I don't know if we had her. Oh, Angelica. Jakar was like lonely and missing this woman, and she was far. Well, 25 miles isn't very far, but she was further away, right? And Angelica's like right there, like, hey, you know, here's your food and look hot. So he could have been like, come on into my room, let's party. And rather, you know, and maybe it said in his olden days, he would have done that. He would have been like, come on in. But he has betrothed his heart to Abigail, and I think in this lifetime, that's just his person. You know, even if there have been many other persons prior to that, you know, he knows what he wants. He wants Abigail, and he's not going to settle for Angelica or puts your own situations, people's names in those slots, you know. And so, you know, he moves Angelica's off, you know, go back to the kitchen. Take your burnt veggie tart with you. And he pings Abigail, and Abigail and Dakar have a very vivid and very precise, specific mental telepathy where, you know, they don't even have to pick up their cell phones and talk to each other. This is what I'm trying to get at. I'm like, come on, people, we should be able to do these things, these heightened senses. And that could be also coming up this week. Pisces is a very psychic, very dreamy, very mystical sign. And if you're already psychically open and gifted, you could find those senses sharpening even more. I mean, they're having these whole conversations through mental telepathy, and you know, and they're having fun, right? Because you're lonely and you need a good spanking. So he decides to leave and go home to Abigail. And I like how he's like, you know, forget about High Core right now. You know, High Core and Bringers of Light HQ, there's always some Bringers of the Light, you know, dark matters. And Dakar always has to go out and put out fires and handle dark beings and, you know, wrestle dark energy. And I think for this time he's just kind of like had enough, you know, not like he's not going to be a bringer of the light anymore, but he just, you know, he just wants his woman. And he's willing to like set some things aside for a little bit and follow up on this intention of his. In this case, getting home to Rockaway Point. Now, what's going on here with the very determined witch high on flying potion that's following him home? You know, who is that? I'm like, is this Maggie Chalmers again? Will she ever give up on Dakar? I don't know if it's Maggie Chalmers. I'm going to wait and see. I'm just going to let that sit and marinate and see who the guides want to bring through. Who's following him? Is it somebody new? And, you know, we don't even know why she's following him. She's just high on flying potion, and maybe she's just zoned in on somebody. We don't know until next Sunday, right? So have we covered all the key points in this card? I think so. Just being in the present moment. Yeah. Just not settling for anything less, keeping a watchful eye out for any signs, signals, synchronicities coming your way. And you'll only really see those if you are in the present moment and not so worried about, like, you know, what's to come. With these soul contracts, you could be like, I don't want person A anymore. I want my person B that I've been, this just keeps coming up. I want my person B that I've been dreaming about. And it's like, when karmic justice are you going to let me be rid of person A so that I can finally have my person B? And Saturn coming in with this Pisces eclipse is saying, you've already got them. This is good. You've already got them. Or if it's not a person, it's like you've already got it. If it's something else, maybe not everybody's manifesting a relationship. And it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship either, but it's like you've already got them. So whatever this is that you're wanting or wishing for is something that lives in your heart. And part of your Akashic record, your soul blueprint for this lifetime, is embedded as a seed into your heart chakra. And that's why we're always like, what do you want? What do you want? Well, look to your heart. Look to your heart. It's because the answers are all already within you. And you've already kind of merged with this thing that you want, be it person, place, or thing. And it lives in you. It's part of your destiny. It's meant to be. It's meant to happen. And actually, what will happen then is, because it's destined to happen, person A or thing A or the thing you might be settling for, you really don't even anymore have, the work has already been done, Spirit's saying, to remove person A or thing A from your life and to bring you person B or thing B. At least apply to everyone here, to bring in the new thing. And all you really have to do is be in the present moment, continue to hold on to your dreams of what you want, continue to, you're manifesting right now too. So act as if what you already have or what you already want is a done deal. Start moving beyond the like, I wish I had the thing or the person, and start moving on to more of like, oh wow, well, person B or thing B is already meant for me. And so when Spirit finally delivers them to my doorstep, when this union of things and merger of things finally happens, what would I be doing with person B or thing B? It was a car, like, where would I drive you? What does it feel like to be behind the wheel? If it's a person, like, where would we go? What would we do? I have this whole list of like things to do with question mark, and I've made a whole list of like vacations and bucket list items I would do, and if it's a person, like taking them with you in your heart, like what, oh, if I went to where would we go shopping, or I don't know, just like, those kind of things, like where would we live? What would we do? Who would be in our soul family? It's a Sunday. Would we have like a family dinner at a big farm table together and invite all our soul family to sit down with us? Get kind of specific about what you want, because you're the destined person or thing is already going to come to you. Now your job is like to think beyond that, to okay, now I'm manifesting, like, where would we live? What would our house look like? What car back to the car, what car would you drive? Who would be in our inner circle? What would we want that to look like? Where would we go on vacation? What would we do? All those things, like, get really specific about all those things, because the work has already been done to move the old out and bring the thing in that you've been working on for so long. And now we're looking further out. So it's an important week then, right? You're manifesting new stuff. So let me just see if there's anything else. Okay, so our guides are saying that they are complete. I hope we have answered all your questions and have we provided superior service. This is so funny. All right, so, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm remembering back when I worked at Capital Group, when I first started in the training department, because I trained new call center people or customer support people, and I also trained like some IT people and management people. I trained varieties of people, but we had like this little like cheerleader motto we had to memorize. Oh, to provide consistently superior customer service and accurate, something weird, but I don't remember all of it anymore. But I mean, we used to be so excited with that little cheer. Making healing and making learning and making living fun. That's what we're here for, with our flying potion stories and all the other stuff we create at TLC for the soul. So I want to thank you so much for joining me here. I don't know what's coming next in terms of shows. I guess that remains to be seen. And for now, though, we will see you all again soon, somewhere in the astrals, at TLC for the soul. Take care.
This episode has been brought to you by Buns and Such, Tessa Locke's premium bakery and workout bar.
Visit anytime during the week and enjoy a free mini workout session and chocolate-filled donut. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you again soon.